Hello everybody, this is Dr. Carpenter. I'm going to talk through one of your peers' responses to the first writing assignment so that you can hear a little bit about sort of my expectations and ways to improve your writing. This example is an assignment that received a high grade. It does have some ways that could improve, but it was generally a pretty good essay. So the first comment I'll make is that the most consistent problem I saw across different people's uh, essays was not really connecting consistently enough to the second part of the question, the prompt. Uh, there was a lot of discussion of the geography and history of Costa Rica, but how it influences life for Costa Ricans in the 21st century, that second part was too often lost track of. So that's the first thing to keep in mind when you set out to write your second paper. Just be sure that you know what your goal is and what I'm asking you to write about. Okay, so I'm going to read through this and just make some general comments and a few little edits. So I'm a big fan of Ernest Hemingway, and he once said, "Why use a $10 word when a $1 word will do?" And so inimitable might qualify as a $10 word. I like simple when simple will do. That's a minor stylistic thing. Just to sort of use geographical terms, we'll say south of Nicaragua and north of Panama. It is okay to use some quotes from the book. Don't feel like you have to do that too much unless the quote from the book is just says something really efficiently. Most of the time for this course, I'm okay to have you summarize the ideas expressed in this book. I think biodiversity would typically be hyphenated. This last sentence is bordering on maybe trying to say too much in one sentence. I generally prefer that you split. If you have a sentence that you're wondering if it's too long, probably it is too long, so maybe split it up to two. Split it into two. I like two simple sentences better than one that gets tangled up. Now I do like how the paragraph ended with this connection to Costa Ricans today. Okay, so you're connecting to the prompt. And then the second paragraph, again, starts off immediately talking about connections to today. Minor thing here in Latin America, most of the countries that the conquistadors arrived to probably had more than one indigenous cultures. So we would make this plural. For example, we will go see and spend time with the Baruca, an indigenous group there, but they're not the only indigenous culture in Costa Rica. Probably this is one place where maybe a little more explanation of sort of how this influence, like what does this mean for Costa Rica today? The fact that it didn't carry through, what does that result in terms of the present culture? And then maybe again, just a little explanation, sort of how did it influence? Saying that something, it was influenced is true, providing some examples or details of how would make it a stronger sentence. Okay, moving into this next paragraph. Again, the history and the geography that is preceded in this paragraph is connected back to the prompt. How does this affect Costa Ricans today? Still in place today. Nice little phrase here, I like that. Now, one thing that you do want to be careful with in your writing, and this is just a little pet peeve of mine, is using absolutes. Absolutes are 100% phrases, like always, never, everyone, no one, constantly. You got to be careful with these because all I have to do when you use an absolute is find one counterexample and I've destroyed your argument. So an easy alternative here would be often public participation. So that way you kind of cover yourself for, well, maybe there was a 6-month period where there wasn't public participation because there was some evil dictator or whatever. So just be careful, avoid absolutes most of the time, as they are usually not appropriate. Again, we end with the connection back to the prompt, talking about today. Be careful with the semicolon. You do need a subject and a verb after a semicolon. It should be like 2 sentences. It could be separated out and be independent. Okay, so hopefully you saw some examples there of things that I liked about a sample essay, and this will provide you a little bit of a guide to how you can maybe improve your second essay for this class.